Sharif Abdel Kouddous. He's just returned from the UN shelter that was shelled earlier this morning. Sharif, what did you see?
Well, Amy, the assaults on Gaza by Israel are always heavier at night. They continue throughout the day, but the heaviest assaults come at dark. And we wake up to see many people dead and to hear their stories and to see people burying their dead. And these people at this UN school in Jabaliya, a refugee camp in northern Gaza, were killed while they slept. Many of these people had come from border areas. They had heeded Israel's warnings. Some came after leaflets were dropped on their areas. Others came after their homes were destroyed by Israel. And they thought that they would be safe in a United Nations-run school. They were wrong. Last night, speaking to multiple eyewitnesses, they said that after the dawn prayers at around 4:30 a.m., the shelling began. They say between 3 and 5 shells landed on the school. These schools are incredibly packed. As you mentioned, I think the number now is over 240,000 are displaced in Gaza, well over 10% of the population. Those are counting numbers that are not only in UN schools, but seeking refuge elsewhere in other homes or other areas. And so these classrooms are incredibly packed. People speak of 60 to 100 people packed into these classrooms. The women and children sleep inside, the men inside. And these shells started raining down on the school. The displaced people there said they did not hear any fighting around the area prior to this attack, the ones who were awake who had just finished dawn prayer. And they spoke of seeing people with their legs blown off, arms blown off. Someone said of a head smashed in. At least 15 people have been killed, according to the health ministry. Up to 20 health official in the Kamal Adwan hospital nearby said that it was, in fact, 20 people had been killed, including at least one child. And many of these people, as I mentioned, they come with nothing, usually the clothes on their back. A lot of them are very poor, and they come with donkey carts. And outside the school, there was a lot of the donkeys had been killed. There's these dead animals outside the school as a result of the shelling. As you mentioned, the United Nations had given the coordinates of the school to the Israeli military, according to the spokesperson, at least 17 times. And now people don't know where to go. When you speak to the survivors, they don't know whether to stay at the school. They think now schools are no longer safe. At least 6 schools have been targeted since this conflict began. And they don't know what to do, where to go. Many of them don't have relatives to go to because entire neighborhoods have been displaced. And so it's a very dire situation. And this comes after 48 hours of the heaviest air and artillery bombardment of Gaza since this 3-week war began. We've now crossed into, it's a longer conflict than the 2008-2009 war on Gaza, which lasted 22 days. And left over 1,300 dead. The health ministry says now that 67 people at least have been killed today alone, and hundreds more wounded. We're right now supposed to be in a 4-hour humanitarian ceasefire that just began a few minutes ago. The bombing seems to have subsided, although as you can hear, the drones are always ahead.